Hello. I forgot the privacy cover. Oops. Can you guys hear me? Type the number 5 in the chat if you can see me and hear me okay. I'm not sure about my gain. I might have not said it right. Because I gotta change it depending on what I do. If I'm recording VO or I'm on somebody's show. Different gain levels. Good. Are the levels okay? Aside from just being able to hear me, does it do I sound okay? Because I don't know if my gain adjustment is not compatible with my filter settings. Maybe it's not set right. So yeah, let me know if the levels are good. Oh, I guess we should go inside the space. I don't want to... It's cold out there in space. There's also the problem with no air. So you guys can come into the spaceship now. It's okay. So here we are. Sounds good? Alright, good. John, when you coming to Scotland? Scotland! You want me to come to Scotland? Okay. So I don't really have a plan for this one, other than well, I have some good news. In case you're not already aware, I have some quality Jontent for you today. I got a little surprise for you. Well, I mean, you might have seen it in your subscriber feed already, but the first episode of my Hard Justice remake is coming out today. In a little under an hour. And the episode itself is a little over an hour long. It's almost a movie. And I got a bunch of fans of the original Hard Justice. Hard Justice is a machinima show that I made years and years ago. And looking back on it, I don't think it's that good, but people like it, and I think that's really cool. And I always thought I could do it better now that I know everything that I know, having done 8 seasons of Arby and the Chief. So, and I've, the story for this remake, I've been outlining for a really long time, years and years, several years. Just workshopping it over and over. And then, so I have an entire season outlined of 5-hour-long episodes. That's kind of my estimate right now, but that's subject to change. Could be an episode less, could be an episode more. It's hard to tell how it's all gonna look by the end, how it's gonna be segmented. Because the plan is to have 3 chapters. It's got, this whole season has a chapter structure. Actually, people might think it's kind of cringe. I don't know. Because I do this Tarantino thing where it's chapter titles against black. You know? You know how, in Kill Bill? Or Inglourious Bastards, be chapter 1, this, chapter 2, that. That's, I do that here. I hope it doesn't come off as pretentious or anything. I think it's cool. But anyway, we'll see. I don't know if people will like this. People might think it's cringe. But I had fun making it, and it's a story I feel pretty strong about, so yeah, I hope you like it. So, hi, John, what we getting into? I just said. People are just joining. It's fine. We're doing this is just a Q&A for Hard Justice. Like, if anyone had any questions about what's, I mean, I can't spoil anything. I mean, I don't want to. But, like, I don't know if people had non-spoilery questions about the production and what at least vaguely to expect. That's what this is for. And then the episode itself is going to be premiering a little under an hour from now. So at 4 p.m. PST is when I'm going to stop this stream, and then we're all going to migrate over to the premiere page for Hard Justice, which if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, you should find it at the top of your subscription feed, or on X. I posted like a mega thread on there with a bunch of details. So yeah, that's what we're doing today, okay? Pulp Fiction does that. Does it? Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot Pulp Fiction. Did it, though? I mean, I know it has a segmented structure, but I don't remember the title cards in between. Maybe I'm probably just forgetting. But anyway, it is a comedy. There's like a bunch of jokes in it. There's a lot of jokes in it. But there are parts of it that I didn't want to be trivialized. Like there is an emotional through line to it that I hope people enjoy and don't think is cringe. But I feel like it needs to be there to give the story momentum, and, you know, I feel like the audience needs to connect with it on that emotional level as well as it being funny. So it walks a fine line, much like Arby and the Chief, right? Arby and the Chief always walked this awkward line between sort of grounded storytelling and jokes that are so fucking ridiculous that just shatters the tension to a degree that you'd think it was like destructive. But I feel like somehow it works. Like I'm just able to walk that line, I think. And I do the same sort of thing here with Hard Justice, because I just like writing that way. It's just fun. It's so funny to me to write like a serious scene with like serious shit going on, and then the whole thing is undercut by a joke that's so ridiculous and inappropriate in context. You know, so. And in Hard Justice, there's a few jokes about the limitations of machinima. You know, the fact, because you got to work around. I think one of the charms of this is that I use the game as much as possible. Like, there's barely any visual effects. I think there's like one VFX shot in this, if you can call it a VFX shot. I mean, it's nothing fancy like Blender or anything. It's just some Photoshop work. But I try to use the game as much as possible, and it's captured on original Xbox 360 hardware. So I wanted this to feel like a show from the 2000s. You know what I mean? It's got kind of more of a modern sensibility to it, but like on a technical level, I wanted this to feel like an old school 2000s machinima, you know, because there's a lot of that around then. Not anymore. I mean, there's still stuff, but it just doesn't feel like a huge, as big as it used to be. You know, people making machinima and stuff. I know there's still people doing it, and like really talented people doing it, but it just doesn't feel like a huge thing anymore. But you know, I enjoy doing it. It's fun. I got all these ideas, you know, and machinima is such a good way of getting your ideas out quickly and manifesting them into like a visual product. Because making movies, like live action movies, fucking sucks. It's a huge pain in the ass. It's exhausting. The hours are long. It's a nightmare coordinating everybody. Like, Machinima is so much easier. And I just like Halo, you know, and working with Halo. And I feel like I did a whole stream explaining why I do what I do, like with why I use Halo Reach and the old version of Halo Reach at that. This is a meme with my fan base, I think, where it's like, just use Master Chief Collection, Lamau. And I've carefully weighed all the pros and cons, and the 360 version is, for a number of reasons, the best option for me. And yeah, I hope you like it. I did a lot of research for it. I mean, this is obviously like satire. It's a satirical depiction of police. But I did a fuckload of research for this. Like, I studied, like, I watched documentaries on cops, police departments. I researched SWAT, you know, hostage situations, loadouts, ammunition types, caliber, special forces units. There's informed by a lot of movies and series. You know, like, you know, the campy stuff like RoboCop and Judge Dredd and shit. But also there's a bit of End of Watch and Training Day, shit like that. And then shows like The Wire, The Shield, 24. I watched a bunch of police procedurals, like BBC dramas. Some Miami Vice that went in there. I watched like police body cam compilations and live PD where you just follow cops on traffic stops. And some Cops too, the show Cops on Fox, which is like live PD turned up to 11, right? Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that has informed the writing of this show. Because I think in order to properly make fun of something, you need to understand it thoroughly. And I feel like I've done as much research as I can, short of actually becoming a cop or going on a ride along, you know? Like, I just soaked in as much as I could from shows. And Hot Fuzz, yeah. I mean, I don't think Hot Fuzz is that revealing of how cops behave and talk to each other. It's more on the comedic side, I feel. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of Hot Fuzz in there, I think, too. Because I'm a big fan of that movie. Yeah, so there's a lot of shit that has gone into this research and absorbing media. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoy it in 45 minutes from now. So there's some. Yeah, Dexter's a good example. Yeah, because Dexter gives a very interesting view of blood spatter analysis that I think is quite fact-based, that you don't see in a lot of other cop shows. In a lot of other cop movies and shows, like when they bring in forensics to a crime scene, it's sort of happening in the background. But Dexter is a show that, you know, the main character is a blood spatter analyst, so you kind of get to see in detail what he's thinking when he's looking at, you know, patterns. And yeah, so there's a bit of that too, I guess. Also, just on a compelling storytelling level as well, I was inspired by Dexter, not just the sort of policing and forensics angle. The French Connection, yeah. I mean, I don't know how... There's not a lot of The French Connection in Hard Justice, but I mean that is one of the many cop movies and shows that I've seen that has informed me, perhaps on some subconscious level, you know. Zootopia, yeah. Yeah, it's another one like that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yeah, that show is it's quite silly. I don't know if I'd use that as a reference for like how cops actually behave, but you know, in terms of like comedy and using policing as a backdrop, yeah, I guess. Training Day, yeah, there's definitely Training Day in this. You'll see some Training Day if you've watched that movie. That's one of my favorite cop movies. Yeah, so I want to get to these super chats that people have generously sent before. I mean, we got plenty of time, but I just want to be safe, get them out of the way before there's not enough time left. Xerxes for $10 says, why does it have to be hard justice, huh? Can't it be soft, floppy, flaccid justice? That's a good point, actually, because when I made the original years ago, like years and years ago, it was like a big dick joke, basically. Like it was ridiculous. So the show was called Hard Justice, and the team was called Erect, and it was some ridiculous fucking acronym like eradication of eradication of a repulsive evil and corruption team, I think. And it was so ridiculous. And I mean, back then, I was just winging it in terms of writing. I didn't really know what I was doing. At the time, I think I was writing, or not writing, reading books on screenwriting and stuff. So I was in the beginning stages of like learning how to do it as I was writing that show and sort of testing things out, you know, in writing things episode to episode and just making shit up as I was going along. I didn't know what I was doing. But, you know, people found it funny enough that they remember it fondly, which is cool, so. But I'm trying way harder with this one to actually make something not only compelling and funny and with, like, a storytelling momentum to it, but, like, there's some real shit in there about policing that I hope people will appreciate. Yeah, so it's hard justice, not soft justice. It's very, very hard. This video is very long and hard, you guys. Thank you, Xerxes. Audentum for 20 Canadian cuckbucks says, congratulations on finishing the new episode, John. A buddy cop show about Todd and Travis hunting down John Brent. John Brent, who's that again? Is that one of my Deus Ex Machina characters? That show, that was a mess as well. But, you know, it's like, it's just part of the learning process, you know. You do this more and more, you just learn. You just get better. You know, I think I'm pretty good at filmmaking at this point. But we'll see. Maybe people will hate this. We shall see. Thank you, Adentum. Really appreciate that. The Power Stroker for $5 says, okay, without spoiling anything, what exactly happens at the start, middle, and end? Ooh, good question. Well, in Act 1, some stuff happens. And then at Act 2, there's a twist. And then at Act 3, there's a resolution. Kind of. Or at least the aftermath to the previous chapter. So yeah, there you go. Spoilers. Sorry I spoiled the whole thing there. Thank you, the Power Stroker. Good luck with your powerful stroking. Wild card winner for $4.99 says, will there be any heavy / light-handed references to recent politics, or will it all be unrelated? No, I didn't. I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to make something that's just has like it takes policing seriously on like a on some level. But I want this to sort of transcend politics and not be partisan, and through its satirical, like ridiculous illustration of multiple perspectives, I want this to be a show that everybody can sort of respect and get on board with, regardless of what side of the political aisle they're on. So there's no like, I don't reference like modern, shit that's happening right now. The story that's told here runs more fundamental than that. Like, it's got universal appeal, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong, we'll see. Wild card winner, thank you very much for that. BM for 5 British pounds. That was a terrible British accent. Trying to do English there. My English needs work. My Scottish is no bad. But my English, I'm afraid, needs some work. What kind of police procedural shows inspired you to make a cop-centric machinima? I can't wait to see it. When's Madame Web professional review? I still haven't seen that movie. I feel like, I don't know if I want to. I've heard it's like funny bad, so like, and I love that kind of shit. So I might still see Madame Web. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I don't know. I have nothing to say on it. I just heard it was a big ropey ropey turd. What kind of police procedural shows? I'm drawing a blank. I mean, were we just talking about British shows? I mean, American ones, I don't know. In regard to police procedural television shows, it's more like what I draw from that is a bit more light and surface level. There are some police shows like I don't know if maybe I'm misunderstanding the term procedural, because shows like The Wire and The Shield, like, I don't think those are procedurals. Because I think a procedural is like, there's a case every week or every episode, and then it's like, that episode is about that case, where like, they first come across the crime scene, and then they catch the guy in the end. Unless it's one of those special 2-parter episodes, where it's like, oh shit, he's still on the run, or something. I feel like that might be more of a police procedural. Are you using any real life cops as references? No, not really. I mean, there's one of my biggest inspirations was a show called The Shield, and that is based off of the Rampart scandals, like a corrupt LAPD strike team. But it's not based off of specific individuals. Not intentionally, anyway. Life on Mars is my favorite police show. The detective character gets hit by a car and wakes up. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Life on Mars. I didn't I didn't stick with it, but I watched, I think, the first 3 episodes. It was good. But I just got distracted, you know. You seen The Wire, John? Yeah, yeah. There's The Wire was another big influence for this as well. I really like that show. Haven't finished it yet though. I'm on season 3. It's good though. I really like a show called Luther. It's a BBC show. Idris Elba is DCI Luther. But Luther is like if Marvel did did a police procedural, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's definitely more of a police procedural than I think of than maybe they're all police procedurals. I don't fucking know. I feel like a procedural show is just you see the entire procedure of a criminal case from the reporting of the crime to catching the guy in the end. You know? Luther is like larger than life, like villains, and it leans dangerously into like camp territory with some of the dialogue. Like it can be, I mean, there's definitely tropes, but it goes into cliche occasionally. But I really like that show. It's just a fun watch. I'm a huge fan of 24. Jack Bauer, the Jack Bauer Power Hour, with Kiefer Sutherland. That was another big inspiration, but I don't think that's not really policing. I mean, it's law enforcement, but it's specifically counterterrorism. It's a totally different department. True Detective, yeah, that's a good example. I love the first season. The first season of True Detective is one of the best police things I've ever seen. Sherlock Holmes? Yeah, I guess there is. I can see how that sort of went in perhaps subconsciously as well. I really like Sherlock. Because when you first mentioned Sherlock, I was thinking like the Arthur Conan Doyle books, you know, but then I was like, oh yeah, the BBC drama with Benedict, of course. Like, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that show. Not so much the last season, but I did enjoy it. Observe and Report? No, not that one. That's the Seth Rogen movie, isn't it? I mean, I haven't seen it, but I can't imagine that movie takes policing seriously on any level. The Robert Downey Jr. movies. Yeah, I think I saw, there's 2 of them, right? Game of Shadows, I think is the sequel. I think I saw both. I'm not so much a fan of those movies. They're okay. Obviously like Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. They're good, but like I prefer the Sherlock show over the Robert Downey. Well, I mean they're both Guy Ritchie movies, I think, right? Yeah, there's a lot of different movies and TV shows informing this, as well as a lot of research. All right, let's see where we are with super chats here. Super duper chats. Thank you, BM, by the way. Very nice of you. Bilal L for 11 euros says, can't believe I'm watching your stuff for 17 years. Thanks, bro. Hey, man, I still love to do it. So, as long as people keep watching and supporting me, I'm quite happy to do it, man. Even though it's a lot of work. And I'm not complaining, but I've been working my ass off on this, okay? I had to rule out video games. I didn't have time for it. the only time I've played games is like the odd, like if I'm really burned out and I just need to zone out for 20 minutes, I'll play a bit of like Celeste, or I recently played this new pool core game called Pools, about exploring liminal spaces. I mean, people make fun of walking simulators and shit, but like, I actually think it's pretty sweet. And it's kind of oddly, it's eerie, but also kind of relaxing and meditative. I wear it with headphones and I crank it all the way up, turn off all the lights. And it's cool just getting lost in this weird, freaky space. The graphics are quite good. Game called Pools on Steam. It's actually quite awesome. If you're into that whole like liminal space, vaporwave, pool core sort of thing, you'll probably like it. But anyway. But for the most part, I just haven't been playing games. I watch stuff, but it'll be when I'm also working on something. Cause like a lot of the process, like the video capture process, is just sitting and just keeping an eye on the shot to make sure it doesn't fuck up. You know, everything's still in frame, you know, and during that time, I gotta just let it record and just keep an eye on it and let the whole thing play out in real time without fast forwarding it. So there's a lot of time where I'm just sitting there doing nothing. So I might as well have like a show on. So I've been binging 24 again. I've seen 24 already, but I'm rewatching the whole show. It's so good. It's such a fun show. But yeah, I've been fucking busting ass on this, so I hope people like this. And if people don't like it, I'll be very sad. So you better like it. Yeah, and I'm happy to do it, man. It's cool. I mean, I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. You know, I don't want to work in the film industry because it fucking sucks. I don't want to work in Hollywood because it fucking sucks. It's not that I think other work is like beneath me or anything like that. It's just, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at. And, you know, people are willing to watch and support me. So it's like, I'm quite happy spending my time doing this, you know? Anyway. Well, thank you for watching, Bilal L, for 17 years. I really appreciate your viewership. And I imagine there's a lot of long-term fans here. I don't know, but I really appreciate you all for staying tuned to my work for as long as you have. Thank you, Bilal L. YCFC Yorkie 72 for £4.99 says, as long as there's a Canadian bacon custom scene, then the show is gold. Oh yeah, I mean this. Yeah, that was a big part of the original series, with this whole like crossing over from the US to Canada and back. This reboot doesn't really do any of that. This like, it's not stated explicitly where this takes place. It's just somewhere in Western America, following in like a post-apocalyptic scenario where like what's left of humanity, they're trying to rebuild, you know, and they build a city that sort of revolves around this police force that's just become hopelessly corrupt and bloated. So yeah, there's no like border stuff and or shit about Canadian bacon. Maybe there should be. That was funny. There's some funny shit in the old series. But I really like what I've done with this reboots, and I hope you guys are on board. If you're expecting, like, if the vision you have for this reboot is like the old show, like, this is quite different, I think, than what I did before. It's like the same basic premise, the same characters, some of the same characters, like the key characters are the same. But I think there's a lot more substance to this, and the plot is much more carefully thought out, and it has a lot more momentum. And I think a point that I didn't touch on yet is that I've outlined. I think I did actually, but I've outlined an entire season. So with the original series, I didn't know where I was going episode to episode in terms of writing. Like I was just winging it. Like, what happens this episode? I don't know. Canadian bacon. That LOL. But with this, it's like it's been really carefully thought out all the way up to a finale, or as carefully as I can. We'll see how well I execute it, but I am trying to give viewers the sense that this is actually going somewhere and building up to something huge. And I hope I do that. Thank you, YCFC Yorkie 72. Appreciate that. Solar Hypercane for $1.99 says, "What's your opinion of Nate the Rake memes?" Nate the Rake? I don't think I've heard of that. I'm actually still. I mean, I'm getting old, but like, I'm still on top of memes, so I'm surprised I haven't heard of it. Like even the normie memes on Instagram. Like I like scrolling through that, and like sort of keeping myself up to date on what sort of modern normie meme culture is like. It's all just cats, obviously. But like some of them are quite funny, you know. Memes, yes, that's the right way to pronounce it. Yeah, Nate the Rake, I don't know. I don't think I've heard of that. Thank you, Solar Hypercane. Jonathan Showalter for $20 says, "This is long overdue. I grew up with Red versus Blue, but didn't know about Arby and the Chief until your first Every Frame of Pause appearance. I think I've watched the whole series 3 times now, and it's made me laugh more than anything else in years." Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, everybody knows me for Arby and the Chief, pretty much, yeah. And I'm proud of that show, man. I think it's cool. It's a great way to build my skills making that show, you know? I'm glad you enjoyed it 3 times, yeah. That is, that's sort of my outlook on content creation, is that a lot of online creators, I mean, they work hard on the videos, but a lot of them, I feel, they're very current, like contemporary of the moment and disposable. You know what I mean? It's like you watch one and then it's like you're never going to watch that again. It's done. You know, it's watched. But like I want to make videos that you can watch and rewatch like a year down the line or years down the line, you know? I want to make stuff with like staying power that's not so of the current moment that, you know, a year from now it's just all irrelevant. You know? So hopefully, I mean, this new Hard Justice thing, I want that to be sort of the same thing where people can rewatch all this like a year from now, you know, and enjoy it. Because it's just like a fun story. And it's sort of universal in its themes, and it's not locked into any particular moment in time. Well, thank you, Jonathan Showalter. I'm really glad you liked it. And I hope you enjoy this one. Amen, brother. Had a taste of Hollywood as a filmmaker. Definitely not going back. I mean, Hollywood is not what it used to be, man. It's a fucking joke now. And it's all becoming decentralized now. All the dope content creators, they're just individuals like me. I'm not saying I'm dope. I'm just saying like that's the way it's going. It's that like a bunch of dope content is coming from just individuals working from their house because everybody has the means of creating stuff now. You know, you can go to whatever tech store and get a webcam or a camcorder and a microphone, and you can just do all this shit, you know, and get professional software, like a personal license, get like an editing thing and a sweet computer, and you know, it's all doable at the individual level now. It's not like fucking 1930 where the only way you could get your hand on a camera or be a camera operator is if you were like deep in the studio, the Hollywood studio system. Now everybody's a filmmaker. Everybody's got their own TV network. The John Network. It's kind of cringe, but kind of cool at the same time, you know? Is this digital queer? Yeah, that's me. Thank you for getting my name right. You better not have cut out erect. There isn't a joke about that in this episode. I'll say that. But there is a joke later about the acronym down the line. So, brace yourself. How many seasons, episodes do you have in mind? Well, I don't know if I have an idea for at least one more season. If people like this, people may not like this, and after the finale of season 1, I might decide, you know what? I don't think people are interested, or maybe even earlier than that, I might decide, you know, people are just not into this. Maybe I won't pursue this any further. But if by the end of season 1, people are really liking it, I do have an idea for another season that's like crazy. But I think it'll be cool. Perhaps even 2. I might do like a sort of back-to-back season thing. Like if people want more, I might do a season 2 and season 3 that are sort of like halves of one broad story. You know how like the last season of Breaking Bad, season 5 was split up into 5A and 5B because it was sort of like the rise and then the fall of Walter White. So I might sort of do something like that if people still like the show at that point. Damn job, you looking tan. Chicken wings tonight with a glass of wine? Dude, I've just been out in the sun for 2 days. This isn't a tan. This is a Scottish person getting burned alive. This will go away in a few days after, if I just like stay in the house, you know. But every day I'm trying to go out for a walk, and it's so nice out right now. So I'm trying to take advantage of that every day. Have a nice walk around the park, you know, get some fresh air. Try and stay fit. I still got a bunch of weight to lose. Fucking look at this gut, man. I gotta get rid of all that. Look at all that jiggle physics. I gotta get rid of that. But I am working out. I stopped lifting weights the past week though, because I pinched a nerve in my upper spine. I was in bed and I just rotated the wrong way and I heard a click. I was like, ah! And I was like, fuck. Now my whole week is fucked. I'm gonna have neck pain, like, because I can't turn my head all the way this way. It's getting better though. And then as soon as this fucking shit goes away, then I'll start lifting again. Get in my belly. Yeah. Ron S for $4.99 says won't be able to stick around for the live premiere. Can't wait to check it out when I get a chance. Thanks for all great content throughout the years. You're welcome. No problem. Hope you enjoy it when you see it. Thanks, Ron. Team Killtacular for $5 says, I see the sun has kissed you. I see the sun has kissed you, Job. Looking good, big man. Thank you very much. I'm trying. Solar Hypercane for $4.99 says, Nate the Rake lore. A Bethesda writer implies the protagonist of Fallout 4 is a war criminal who committed war crimes against Canadians. Oh. Yeah, I never played Fallout 4. I watched someone play a bit, and it didn't look that great to me, to be honest. The one everybody keeps telling me to play is New Vegas. like I briefly started it and it looked promising and everything. I just don't have the time to play something like that. Not right now, anyway. Well, I mean, now that I've gotten this fucking episode done, finally, and this was such a huge, immense workload getting this done, but now that it's done, I would like to spend the next week or two just doing some fun things, like maybe some streaming. Maybe I'll finally do that fucking Sonic Adventure stream that I've just been talking about for ages. Sorry about that, by the way, where I'm just like, I'm gonna stream more, you guys. And then I just get buried working. And then it's like, there's just so much fucking work to do every day on this show, on this Hard Justice thing, that it's just like, nah, I kind of want to stream just to take a break from this, but then I'll feel bad because this is all time that I could just that I could spend just getting this fucking done quicker, you know? So I'm glad I just powered through and I've got it done now. And yeah, in the coming days and weeks, I'd like to do some fun things. Stream some Vidya Gams. Gamers rise up. Thank you, Solar Hypercane, for $4.99. Appreciate that. So Nate the Rake is a Fallout 4. Well, it's unclear to me whether Nate is the Bethesda staff member or a Fallout 4 character, but whatever. I haven't heard of them. I haven't heard of the lore. I'm out of the loop on the lore there. Thanks, man. Andrew Garcha for $19.99. Holy moly. Thank you for the years of content. In the times of watching Arby and the Chief, I've come to realize the show and the dialogue are important. You deserve more eyes than you've ever we had. Yeah, so you're basically just saying I deserve more views, which, you know, is fair. But I try not to pay attention to that, you know? Sometimes I look at the view figures and it bums me out. Like, I wish I was more popular, but whatever. I don't want to get too fixated on that. The important thing is just caring about what you make and then just make it and put it out there. And one day, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a award-winning YouTuber. I have 100,000 subs. I'm just better than most people. So I guess I should be happy about that at least, right? Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate the super chat, man. We gotta go soon. It's like, well, we got 10 minutes. But yeah. In about 5 minutes, I'm gonna stop this, and then we're all gonna go over to the premiere page for Hard Justice, okay? So I'm just gonna get through these last chats here. Seeing Job in 60 frames per second is weird. What's wrong with it? Is this not good? The bigger frame rate? I got a new camera. I got a 4K camera, but I downscale it. I downscale the output to 1080p, hoping that it would just give sort of a more crisper image. And then also, I feel like the 60 FPS thing for streamers is like I feel like that's the baseline now. YCFC Yorkie72 for £4.99 says, not trying to hunt for spoilers, but hoping there's cool antagonists like Mason Clark and Governor Drake. Oh yeah, I do remember those characters. I don't want to say anything about that, but I do have those characters in mind. Yeah, I don't want to say anything. I'm aware of those characters, and I do like them, and I would like to use them at some point. Thanks, Yorkie. Tobias Edvardson for NOK. I always forget this Norwegian something. 25 Norwegian dollars, whatever they are. You know, Quasimodo predicted all this. Yes, he did. What a prophet. That's a Sopranos line, by the way. Solar Hypercane for $1.99 says, would it be racist if I called you a Johnner? A Johnner? That's more... That would be more of a nickname for, like, my fan base, right? Why would I be a Johnner if I'm John? I don't even like Johnner as, like, a name for fans either, though. I don't think it's racist, though. Thanks, Hypercane. Bilal L for €2 says, yes, stream. It helps me during night shifts. Oh, well, I'm happy about that. That's cool. Andrew Garcha for $1.99 says, one day, man. Again, thank you so much. Yes, one day. Thank you very much. Thank you for all these super chats. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in and making this special for me, you know, because, like, you know, I've been working my ass off on this, but it's all worth it for moments like this where it's like, it's actually done. Holy shit, I can actually show this to people. Oh, I didn't think this day would ever come, right? And now it's here, and I get to put it out and then see how everyone reacts to it. It's fun, you know. A little nervous because I'm not sure if it'll be what people are expecting or if people will like it, but, you know, I hope people... I think I did a good enough job on it that people will probably like it. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. John-tastic, yes. This is 100% grade A quality John-tent that you're about to see. Okay? So you know what? I think I'm going to end it here. I'm going to stop. So here's the plan, okay? I'm going to stop this stream. And then we're all going to go to the premiere page for Hard Justice Episode 1. If you're not sure where it is, just go to my YouTube channel, John Graham, or just check my X post, JCJ Graham, and that has the link there. So you can go to the premiere page and then hang out and chat with other fellow John Tent fans, with fellow average John Tent enjoyers. And I'll be there as well. And then we'll all watch the episode. It's about an hour. It's just a little over an hour long altogether with credits and everything. And then after the episode is done, I'll stream again. I'll start up a new stream, and that'll be like a post-release Q&A. So if you have any questions about how the episode was made or whatever, I'm happy to answer them. All right? Okay. I am stopping the stream now, so go to the premiere page, and we'll hang out there. All right? Thank you, everybody, very much.